Hi, sunshines. So we're going to do dividing segments using ratios. So to start with, we're going to find the number that is 1/5 of the way from 6 to 36. So step one is to subtract to find the distance between the two values. So I want to find how far apart 6 is from 36. So 6 minus 36 is -30, but we're talking about distance, so we only care about the absolute value. Step two is to multiply that distance from step one by the fraction. So 6 units is a fifth of the way of the fifth of the distance that we have to travel. But we're not starting at 0, so we need to start at 6 and go from 6 to towards 36. So step 3 is to add or subtract that step 2 value from the starting point. So 6 is our starting point. So I'm going to start at 6. You add to go towards 36, so it's going to be 6 plus the blue 6 equals 12. So 12 is my actual answer. This is my start. So to do this in a two-dimensional graph, you just need to do the same steps to x and to y. So you just do x and y separately. Although when you have a question that's worded like this, it's a little bit complicated because you want it so that point Q is between P and R so that QR is twice the length of PQ. So PQ is one piece and then QR is two pieces. So that means you're breaking it 2 plus 1 gives you 3. So you're breaking PR into 3 pieces, and then QR is going to be 2/3 of the way from R, or 1/3 of the way from P, depending on which direction you want to go. You can go either way. So you could think of it as if segment PR was like 3 inches long. QR is twice as long as PQ. So QR is 2 inches, PQ is 1 inches. That makes 3 inches altogether. So that's why it's thirds. I prefer adding, so I would rather start from P so that I'm going up to get to R. So P is on that. I'm going 1/3 of the way from P. So that makes this -6, 0 my start. So we have to do this process to our x values and then separately to our y values. So the x coordinate of point P is -6. The x coordinate of point R is +6. I really recommend writing this out before you get started because it's so easy to just lose track and start pulling in y values when you don't want y values. So I'm going 1/3 of the way from -6 to 6. So step 1 is to subtract my two values and find the distance. Distance is always positive, so we're just going to take the absolute value. Remember, when you subtract, I'm starting at -6, I'm subtracting 6, so they're actually 12 units apart. Step 2 is to multiply that step 1 value by the fraction. So 1/3 of 12 is 4. Step 3 is to add or subtract. So I'm starting at -6, going towards +6. So I want to go up, I want to add. So -6 plus 4 equals -2. So that's my x coordinate for point Q. Now we have to do the same exact thing with the y coordinates. So I subtracted my y coordinates and I found that they were 9 units apart. So 1/3 of 9 is 3. So I went 3 units from 0 towards 9. So I added, and so I got 3. So my y coordinate is going to be 3. So point Q is going to be -2, 3. So that's 4 in x and 3 in y. So those are the distances from that step 2. I went 4 over in x, I went 3 up in y to get to my coordinate. You can do the same process going from point R, going 2/3 of the way, where you would use 2/3 instead of the 1/3, but then you would use the R value here instead of the X value, and you'd have to subtract because going from 6 towards -6 would be down, going from 9 towards 0 would be down, and you'll end up at the same place, the same answer.